I just finished watching the latest Cinefiles episode and I thought we'd do a video response. Finally, you guys did the Evil Dead trilogy, and I think myself and a lot of the other fans were really looking forward to that because I think we from a few things you had said in other films, other episodes. Sorry, I'm tired. As you'd said in other episodes, it seemed like you're fans of the trilogy, so I really looked forward to seeing what your thoughts were on it, and it was a great show, brilliant show, really enjoyable and entertaining, as always. Anyway, going on to the first film, you were talking about the first Evil Dead, and I agreed with all of you guys that I think it's a really entertaining movie. Jeff interestingly said that he didn't find it scary, and while I think the first film is more of a horror film than the rest, yeah, it's not a terrifying film, but I do think there are creepy moments. I think when you can hear the voice from the tape recorder playing, and the shots from in the woods and things like that. I think it definitely has creepy moments, and I think the demons can be quite frightening, especially if you're a bit younger. I agree with what Eric said. He said that if he thought he'd seen it just a little bit younger, maybe it would have been frightening. But it was interesting that Jeff said that he saw the second, third one, and then the first one because, well, I was very young when I seen the Evil Dead trilogy, and I'm not exactly sure what order I saw them in, but I've got a funny feeling it was the same, second, third, and first. But I agree with what Mike said about what they achieved with the budget. It's really incredible, and I think it was Edmund as well was talking about just to get the film finished. It was pretty amazing all round. It was a pretty amazing effort. The fact that they had to go, and Sam Raimi had to go and work around the actors' schedules so much, and there's times when basically they couldn't even get the actors, and they had to have someone else in the makeup and things like that. And I think it was really great that they got the film done, and it's a fantastic film. Now, you did mention the fact that for the first film there's this rubber Book of the Dead edition of the DVD, which does stink. You're right. I just thought I'd verify that it does stink. Although I heard that this is the second run of this, and the first run of rubber Evil Dead 1 DVDs was, they really stank, and some of the rubber perished as well, apparently. Anyway, if you want to know what the book is, just it's just basically it's got a little bit about the production and its illustrations and things like that from the film, and then you've also got a booklet which goes through the production of Evil Dead, which is quite cool. Obviously you've got the DVD, and interestingly, and I don't know if this was a mistake or not, I was given this running time. I don't know if please, if any of you other guys have actually got this in your version of this DVD, it was another Bruce Campbell film, running time, and it's supposed to be like sort of a Hitchcockian attempt at doing a film in one continuous shot, so it wasn't that great, to be honest, but yeah, it was interesting, and so it's actually worth a purchase because it's pretty cool. You get the face and all that in the front of it. Anyway, so on to the second film. I totally agree with what Eric and Mike said. It's one of the best horror films ever made, and with what Edmund said as well, it's one of the best films of the 80s, definitely. It is far more comedic than the first film, but it's got a really good mix of horror and comedy, and what you said about, I think it was Edwin was saying that it was more of a reboot than a sequel. As far as I'm aware, what it was the first 20 minutes was a remake of the first film, and then after that, it's the rest of that is the sequel, basically, because I think they wanted to use footage from the first film and do a recap at the beginning, or they wanted to bring some of the actors back and they couldn't get them to film some sort of introduction to the film. and they couldn't do it, or they didn't have the rights to do it, so they just reshot the entire beginning. I can understand why people think it's a remake, because in this version Ash just goes to the cabin with his girlfriend and not with all of his friends and all that, and it sort of plays out differently, so I can understand that. But I think it's a special film. It's a unique film in the fact that it is both a reboot and a sequel. So I can't really think of anything else that's the same as that achieves both of them. I'm sure someone will point out a film that's really obvious that I should know that is that, but I can't think. Anyway, so yeah, I agreed with what everyone said about it being just a phenomenal film, and what Mike said about the demons and all that, when they're all contorted, and I don't know what this is. This is some sort of really, really crap demon impersonation that I'm doing right now. You know what I'm talking about. When the demons are like that, and they're up in the air, and they've got the sclero lenses in, and they're just white over the eyes, and it's quite frightening. The whole film's just action packed, great horror, great comedy, and yeah, Bruce Campbell, how he never got what Mike said about him getting a 5-picture deal, totally on the ball, because he should have, absolutely should have. Hollywood missed the boat with Bruce Campbell, because it would have been amazing. In fact, on that, I actually have this, which is a Bruce Campbell book called If Chins Could Kill, Confessions of a B-movie Actor, and it's got great insight into the making of the Evil Dead films and just his entire career, and it's really inspirational if you want to get into filmmaking. Anyway, so on to the last film. Edwin, you really surprised me. Army of Darkness is great. I can understand some of the things that you said about it, that it does kind of turn its back more on the horror elements, but if you think about it, it's almost a natural progression, because the whole series becomes more comedic as it goes on, and I think the film is more of a fantasy film and a sort of adventure film than a horror film, and but the scenes in the windmill and in the graveyard and things like that, there are definitely horror elements in there, and I thought it was great. So some of the things that were said, I'm convinced that with Army of Darkness, the apocalyptic ending that you talked about, that was the original ending, and I'm also sure that it was only really in America. I think that the new ending with Back in the Shop that was put on, because I think in Europe, I may be wrong, but I think in Europe we got the original ending, and I think that's why some people call it the European ending, just because maybe it tested differently over here. They thought it would have a different. I love both endings, to be honest. I think both work really well, although I think the original's kind of funnier, and it actually puts a really nice end to the series, and it leaves you open thinking, is there going to be a fourth one? How could they do a fourth one? Anyway, so I think the one thing the film suffers from is that it feels like it's trying to be Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and obviously Monty Python and the Holy Grail did the comedy better in that sort of way, and that's the only thing I think it suffers from. But I really enjoyed it, thought it was great, and I really hope there is an Evil Dead 4 rather than a remake, because I think an older Ash would work much better than an older Indiana Jones. I'm looking at Bruce Campbell now. I think it's a shame he doesn't want to do it, but it would, and that specifically because he watched Indiana Jones 4 and he said, "Oh dear, no, we're not making an Evil Dead 4." I wish they would make a fourth one. Anyway, loved the show. Thought it was great, guys. As always, look forward to future shows, and I'm sure I'm going to do a bunch of video responses on this channel, and on Area 51 as well probably, but they'll be more like top 10 lists and things like that. Anyway, brilliant show, keep up the good work, and see you all later. Bye bye.